But if you get 11,000 people that claim they've seen something, maybe they have seen something, right? I think it's a plesiosaurus, a dinosaur still alive. Now, if you believe in evolution and you think they lived 70 million years ago, you're going to have a hard time with this, I understand. The concept of a dinosaur still living, oh, that's crazy. No, it's not. Not if the world's young. Makes perfect sense. Did you know there's a big swamp in Africa? Largest swamp in the world is in the middle of Africa. It's on the map here. That big green dot in the center. That swamp is bigger than the whole state of Alabama. That swamp is 55,000 square miles. That's a big swamp. Did you know there have been 20 scientific expeditions into that swamp in the last 20 years looking for apatosauruses, dinosaurs that are still alive? If you show this to one of the natives that lives in that swamp, the native will say, oh yeah, that's Mokele Membe. He lives out there. They say, don't bother him, no, he's not too friendly. Mokele Membe? Dr. Roy Mackal, University of Chicago, biology professor. Here's his book right here. Dr. Mackal went over to the swamp in 1980, spent 6 weeks. He said the first thing he noticed about the swamp was the mosquitoes. They landed on him at the rate of 1,000 per hour. Bloodthirsty mosquitoes. I was up in Minnesota one time speaking at a church up there, and I thought I was going to get carried away by the mosquitoes. The pastor at the church, I was talking to him. I said, man, you got mosquitoes. They're terrible around here. Ah, what do you do with the mosquitoes? He said, what are you talking about? We don't have a single mosquito in the whole state of Minnesota. I said, you don't? He said, no, they're all married and have large families. Don't have a single one. They're all married. Never mind. I'll explain it to you later. Oh. A little sleepy here. But Dr. Mackal went into the swamp after spending 6 weeks in there, interviewing people who live there. He came back the next year and spent 9 weeks and $250,000. Here's his book, name, address, phone numbers in the front cover. When they showed a picture of an apatosaurus to the natives in the swamp, the natives said, yeah, that's Mokele Membe. Dr. Mackal said, fellas, that's a dinosaur. They've been dead for 70 million years. And the natives said, well, we're sorry, we didn't know that. See, we've never been to college to study evolution. All we know is we see them out there once in a while when we're fishing. There's an article in Time Life, Mysterious Creatures. Got the book right here. A whole section in this book. You might have this in your library. Time Life, Mysterious Creatures. You know, it's part of a series, $14.95. Get one a month, cancel anytime. You know how they do it. There's a section in here about Mokele Membe in the Congo swamp. There have been 20 expeditions over there now trying to find dinosaurs that are still alive. And again, I don't want you to think there's millions, but there's some in the Congo swamp. I think there's a couple in Loch Ness. The Loch Ness Monster is probably a plesiosaurus. Did you know, in 1977, a Japanese fishing boat was dragging their net behind their boat fishing down by Australia, New Zealand. When they pulled the net up to see what kind of fish they caught, in that net, 1977, they had a picture of it right here. They had a dinosaur in their net. 4,000 pound, 32 foot long plesiosaurus. The fellows on the ship said, that's a dinosaur. What's he doing here? They've been dead for millions of years. Well, see, nobody told this one about it. He was still around in 1977. They saved some tissue sample, measured it, weighed it, and threw it back. It stunk. It had been dead for a few days. They said, we're not having that thing on board. They made a commemorative stamp out of it for Japanese mail. Stamp's right here on the page. You can come by and take a look at this. Could there have been a 32-foot-long dinosaur caught just 1977? Well, that depends upon your view of history. If you believe in evolution and you think dinosaurs lived millions of years ago, you're going to have an awful hard time with that one. But if you believe the world's not millions of years old, then it makes perfect sense. There could be a few still around. Hey, did you know a dead dinosaur washed up on the beach in California? Here's the article. California's Nessie, Skin Diver magazine. A dead dinosaur, 40 feet long, with a 20-foot neck, washed up on the beach. People came for miles to see that thing. A plesiosaurus? How can that possibly be? Did you know there have been over 1,000 people that claim they have seen a creature called the Lake Champlain monster in Vermont, between Vermont and New York? Lake Champlain is a long, skinny lake. There's a book, Champ, Beyond the Legend. That lake's about 120 miles long. I met the lady who took this photograph. Her picture and her story appears on programs like Unsolved Mysteries or Sightings. Her name is Sandy Mancia. She's a friend of mine. She took the photograph in 1977 of the Lake Champlain monster. There have been 1,000 people that claim they have seen it. What is going on? Is it possible there's a dinosaur in Lake Champlain? Did you know there have been over 200 different places around the world where they're still reporting small dinosaurs alive right now? So I just want you to get a different view of history. This world is not billions of years old. There have been reports out of the Congo swamp for the last 150 years about dinosaurs still living in that swamp. The natives call it Mokele Mimbi, and I think there are a few still around. So don't think there's millions of them, but there's some. And I think in the science textbooks, they ought to stick with science. And if they're going to tell you the world got here by a process called evolution and man came from millions of years ago, we used to be a monkey, first place, that's not science. Secondly, that's not fair to only show you one side and not show you the other options. Over half the U.S. population does not believe that, so why do they teach it? In the textbooks, they'll give some proofs for evolution. Here's what they're going to say. Boys and girls, we can prove evolution because we have similar structures with other animals. Oh, yeah, man has 2 bones in his wrist, the radius and the ulna. So? Well, so does the dolphin. The dolphin's got 2 bones in his flipper, radius and ulna. Yeah, so? Well, the bat's got 2 bones in his wing, the radius and the ulna. Yeah, I agree. And then they'll say, don't you see? That proves we have a common ancestor. No. That might prove we have a common creator. Maybe the same guy